Hey YouTube, Sogyo here, and right now it is 1:24, and for 1:24 it is rather warm in the UK. It's 27 degrees. However, for some people around the world, they would describe that as just a normal temperature for them, or in some places they would even describe it as cold. But are they right? Well, technically no, because if you think about it, cold isn't actually a thing. People aren't cold. And this has to do with, well, how temperature works in its most basic level. Temperature is just atoms vibrating back and forth. It's the temperature of a system, which is just, well, any group of particles that relate, that interact with one another, you could imagine it as. The temperature of a system is just the sum at any individual moment of all of the random vibrations of particles of atoms, and these random vibrations are the kinetic energy, even though they're random, as I was saying. While objects at the macro scale, such as a car that has kinetic energy, it does have kinetic energy, but it isn't random. But that's all really that temperature is. And temperature is just a number on a scale. The scale is absolute zero all the way up to 142 nillion degrees, technically, which is where the wavelength gets so short of light emitting photons that it reaches the Planck length, which is the smallest size. So technically, you shouldn't be able to add more energy to it and make it hotter because it violates physics, but we don't know because we have never reached that temperature. But it probably, no one even knows what would happen above that. It would probably no longer even be hot anymore. But cold is just the absence of heat. But I mean, there technically is a temperature that you could describe as cold because there's no heat at all in that moment, but that temperature is absolute zero, minus 273.15 degrees Celsius, and that is because at that point the atoms aren't jiggling anymore. The sum of their kinetic energy of their vibrations at any moment is zero, because they literally aren't moving at all, though. And so you could describe someone or anything that was at absolute zero as cold, but other than that, cold isn't a thing. There isn't a coldness scale. There's just the temperature scale when something is low on that scale. So if someone's feeling cold, they're wrong, unless they're absolute zero. But of course, absolute zero is impossible to reach, and so if someone ever says they're cold, tell them, you're just lacking heat. You're wrong.